What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the 2 Game Podcast. And I'm here to review Demon Slayer's Hashira training arc. Just aired a couple of months ago. I just finished it last night, finished watching all the episodes. And I got to give my thoughts on it because going into this season, I've read all the mangas. I've read the entire series. And the Hashira training arc is my least favorite arc in the mangas. Period. Like, I have just not been excited for this particular arc to happen in the anime. And I gotta say, guys, this was not a bad season. Like, I enjoyed this way more than what the manga ever did. And I know that's kind of sacrilegious to a lot of people out there that, you know, they'll die on the hill that the manga is always better than the anime. And I get it. The manga is fucking fantastic for Demon Slayer. For sure. Like, I can't disagree with that. But the anime is also pretty fucking fantastic. Let's get that out there. And going into this arc, again, I have always said that the Hashira training arc is my least favorite. It's borderline right there with the Garlic Jr. saga for Dragon Ball Z as two of my least favorite arcs in an anime that I've watched. Period. And I realize that I'm referring more along the lines of the manga here, but I thought it was going to kind of be in that general category with Garlic Jr. Saga, where it was just like, I really just do not like this. But that's not the case. I actually really enjoyed the season. Now, it has a lot of issues. And the biggest issue was I was expecting this arc of the anime to really dive deeper into the actual Hashira, and we didn't necessarily get that. It seemed like we had a little bit of pacing issues, and I know they're trying to cram everything into 8 episodes. It just felt like we didn't use our time appropriately sometimes, or it felt like we just rushed everything. Like, I would have been okay with maybe 2 more episodes to really flesh out the Hashira, especially going into the finale of the anime with the Infinity Castle arc and shit. I felt like this was a great time to really get to know all the Hashira, especially when, fucking shit's about to hit the fan. Now, for the most part, they did touch on every single one of the Hashira and kind of gave them their own moments throughout the entire season, and I do appreciate that. But I was expecting, I guess the way the season started, I was thinking that they were going to spend an episode per Hashira, and I would have preferred that, honestly. And it got to the later portions of the season, and that's when they started devoting like 5-10 minutes to one Hashira. Like Kanroji, like, they didn't give her much of any screen time in this season. Like, I was really hoping that they would kind of dive into her character a little bit more, and they just didn't whatsoever. They spent some time on Tokido, which I was okay with because I know we got him in the last season, the Swordsmith Village arc, and I liked his character a lot of last season, so I was kind of hoping we'd get a little bit more of him this season. We got some pretty good time with Uzui, and he's definitely one of my favorite characters in the series, so I am not mad by any means the fact that we kind of went back to him and kind of showed what he was going through and the fact that he's still training the Hashira. But we didn't get hardly anything. I think we may have gotten, 2 scenes of Shinobu, so that's kind of disappointing. And one character that I was looking forward to in this season, because I really liked his character in the manga, and that is Sanemi. And we got a lot of him in this season. Not as much as I would have hoped for, but what we did get of him, I loved all the character moments between him, Iguro, and they were just really, really great. I kind of wanted just more of him, in the season. And even with him and his brother, the interactions there were really, really great. Now, that comes into one of my complaints of the season. The season is so compact with the 8 episodes that, again, it feels like we don't really spend a whole lot of time on each character. When they have a dope-ass moment, like Sanemi and his brother Genya, that moment should have been really fucking cool. And I loved it, for sure. They built it up, and they started fighting, and it lasted legitimately less than a minute. And it's like, okay, did we really just need to cut that? Did we really need to cut that sequence that short? Like, we should have spent a little bit more time on the fighting here, on that conflict between those 2 characters. And I think that would have made the season a lot better. It was just like anytime they built up tension in a scene or built up to a critical or or pivotal moment, it seems like they just undercut it and just trimmed it to the least amount of time possible for all of those sequences. And that was a huge disappointment for me for this season. So I think if they would have devoted, again, maybe 1 or 2 more episodes to the season, and that's saying something coming from a guy that just really does not like this arc in the manga. And kind of bouncing off of that, a lot of those tense moments were undercut by humor. And I wasn't a big fan of that because there were some moments throughout the season where it would be like this really tense moment, and then we'd have Tanjiro breaking the tension and creating some levity with humor. Now, granted, this is the funniest season to me personally. I laughed my ass off quite a few times throughout this season, but I just feel like some moments were just undercut by the humor, and it kind of ruined some of those moments. Now, Tanjiro, I think I've really enjoyed his character throughout the entire season, and I thought they did some great things with him. And dude's looking swole as fuck. Let me just go ahead and throw that out there. But really enjoying what they're doing with his character here. Now, for whatever reason, they just forgot about Zenitsu and Inosuke. They brought them in kind of like sparingly towards the back end of the season. I don't know. I feel like with the Hashira training arc, again, 1 or 2 more episodes would have been great, and kind of focus in on Zenitsu and Inosuke, give them a little bit more screen time, considering that they need to do some of the training as well. And I know a lot of people have their feelings about Zenitsu, and to me, I don't want to say he was unbearable in this season, but it was just like every time that he showed up in an episode, I was just like, wow, I wish we could devote a little bit more time to somebody else, because I think they're just making him that much of an unbearable character, and I'm just not jiving with him. But I know I'm not the only one that kind of feels that with the anime, so take that for what you will. And some other quick things that I want to mention: the animation looks absolutely fantastic, and especially in the season finale, episode 8. I was actually not expecting them to end the season with Muzan showing up and them starting to fight him. Now, they teased it more than anything because really the fight didn't even really start. But the animation in that episode, it just seemed like they kicked it up to a level 10. Especially when the Kagaya's compound explodes. The explosions, they look so crisp, so damn good. I was very impressed with the animation, not only in that episode, but the season as a whole. So overall, really enjoyed this season more than I thought I was. And maybe that's why I enjoyed it more than maybe some other people out there. It was just like I had the lowest of low expectations for this arc, and it was mainly because I just do not like it in the manga. So personally, I enjoyed it a lot. It was as soon as an episode finished, I watched another one. And again, I love these characters. I love this anime. I love the manga. The entire series is just one of my favorite animes and mangas of all time. And the fact that they were able to make this a good season based on the source material, I thought, I don't want to throw out the word achievement, but it was great that they were actually able to give us some good things throughout the season. I don't think it was even across the board. There's definitely its issues. In fact, I just wish it was paced a little bit better. It's so fast paced that we never really get time spent on one thing. And I think that's what hurts the season more than anything. But guys, let me know down in the comments below of what you thought about the Hashira training arc for Demon Slayer. How does it compare to the manga? Am I the only one that doesn't like the training arc in the manga? I mean, I keep talking shit about it, but as far as I'm aware, people that I have talked to kind of feel the same way. So let me know down in the comments below of what you think about the manga versus the anime. And also in the description below, we have links to all of our social media accounts. Would greatly appreciate it if you went there, like, subscribe, follow, and then also our Patreon. That's where you can subscribe to us monthly and support us, and that would greatly benefit us as we try to replace and upgrade some of our equipment to bring you better content. But guys, that is going to be it for me. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch y'all next time on another episode. Laters.